Ladies and gentlemen, Ebro, Lauren, Rosenberg, young Speedy Morman. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
The
What's
Speed
going on?
Speedy got a great story for you. One day on the show, I don't even know if Rosenberg and Laura Stiles remember this. They brought your name up. This was many years ago, but they brought it up like, yeah, you know, Speedy.
It was,
I was
probably
like,
about
who
a
the
clip.
hell is Speedy?
Yeah, it was probably a clip or something with you in the early-ish days, I suppose.
I was like, who's Speedy? They were like, you don't know Speedy from Complex? I was like, who is that? Now, I knew your face,
Right.
but I didn't know your name.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've been doing great things for a long time.
My brother.
But he's still a young man, so it's still relatively.
Well, a relatively long time, right? I mean,
Yeah,
but it's still 8 years, right, at least.
Yeah, it's about 10 now, which
10,
is
see?
crazy. to
But you
think.
were a kid when you started there, correct?
Yeah, I was very young when I started. But I mean, look, that was just a part of the journey. You know, I had to earn my way to be able to be in rooms like this. Most people just maybe saw me like, oh, who's this guy? And then eventually, little by little, more like people started recognizing my
Time,
work.
it takes
So,
time.
yeah.
Would that be your piece of advice to anybody young that like wants to do what you're doing? Is the amount of time it actually takes?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we conflate like the internet with like quick success, but y'all know how this goes. Like it does take a long time to finally get to a point where you feel like, you know, you're being recognized for the work that you've done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think people want to be successful so fast. It takes a minute though. You know,
Do you
Takes a
have
minute.
one of those stories where you travel 2 hours from God knows where to get to your
I
internship?
absolutely do. Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
absolutely. Do you want to?
We would love to
Yeah,
hear
we
the story.
want the
That was
story.
that was the actual.
Yeah,
that's the
okay, I
question.
gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, man. So, man, it's still such a crazy story to think about. But so I started at Complex 10 years ago. Now I was an unpaid intern at the time.
You heard
How
that,
fine.
ladies and gentlemen? It was a time.
Oh yeah,
It was a time.
internships were not paid when I was doing this.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, the way we got paid was in our monthly Metro card. Like that was the payment they gave us.
that was a good look.
But they reimbursed us too, so I really had to come out of pocket. I was really like paying to work for free, you know. So yeah, I started as an intern, unpaid, just a hustler. Like I was working in the editorial department, but at the time I was already going to school upstate. Studying broadcasting
Upstate where?
in Syracuse.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was studying broadcast journalism, and I was editorial intern, but I would try to finish up my requirements quickly so that I can run over to the Complex TV, which is what it was called at the time, and help them out with stuff. And I would just act like I was still working on the editorial projects, but I would just finish it super quick, then run over and like run the mics, run audio, set up the tripods, anything that I could. Just to let them know I was there to work. And then I just worked my way, and eventually I got an opportunity at what was called the screen test. And then they was rocking with me, and they was like, hey, you know, you could be a weekend anchor here, but I was about to go into my senior year of college. And I'm like, damn, you know, that's 5.5 hours away on that Greyhound bus. What am I gonna do? But then I was like, you know what? I just gotta do it. Just gotta thug it out. So for every weekend of my senior year, I would take the Greyhound bus 5.5 hours down on Friday, do Saturday and Sunday, you know, shooting an interview or shooting a new stand-up at the time, and then get back on the bus, back upstate on Sundays.
Man, I know who Speedy is, man.
Yeah.
I know who Speedy is.
That's Speedy
Yeah.
motherfucking Morman.
Yeah, man. It was
like
a time though, and that, you know, it's crazy to think about it now, but think about how inconvenient a 5.5 hour
Bruh.
trek is every 5 days on a bus. Like that was the worst, but it cost. You know, that was what the cost was to get.
But that's why the story's so
yeah.
important, because one of my old man on the lawn feelings that I have now, being in my 40s in this business, is the lack of interest and opportunity that people have to get to do that.
Yeah.
Because now everyone should get paid for their work. Okay, great. You want to have it that way? Great. There'll just be way less opportunities for people to work.
No, that's real.
So like at neither of my radio stations are there interns. I don't work anywhere with
There's
interns.
no interns anymore.
No interns.
No
bro.
interns.
Really? So how do people break in these days?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yet, and the thing that frustrates me is that the current conversation that exists, at least on social media when this comes up, is like, nah, you should get paid for your work. And I'm like, if you have zero skill set, which we all do when we show up, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have nothing. And you want to be a part of this really cool field that anyone would, it's not real work. Like, Speedy,
Oh, you don't got to tell
Yeah,
me.
you don't do real
This
work.
is all fake.
We all do fake work.
Yeah, yeah.
The way to do that is to put in the real work at some point. And they've taken that away. It's a real bummer, man. Like that. So we love hearing that story.
Yeah.
Because someone your age, you're still in your 20s, right?
Well, I just turned 30.
Just
yeah.
turned 30.
Just turned
So to
30.
be that young and have had that experience now makes you unique. That's not a thing anymore. You know?
Yeah, man. I didn't know that there were no interns anymore. That's nuts. to
Well,
me.
there are interns. There are companies that actually pay young people for experience.
Right.
So,
right.
and then they take those young people and put them in fields of their interest.
But it's that's so much less efficient. Because like back in the day when I started here and there were still interns, this radio station itself, there was like an intern coordinator and they hired like 15 people a semester. So that's mad people
Oh.
getting to work
Yeah.
every
We had
year.
interesting characters.
Oh yeah, and you mentioned
Oh,
you had
I'm
some
sure.
bad
A
ones
fresh
too.
crop. Like,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nah, and they come in and they think they know what it is.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
Da-da-da-da, or what it's supposed to be. Listen, I love how far you've taken it too.
Thank you, man.
Right? Because now
Thank
you've
you.
sat down. What's the biggest name you feel
Joe
like
Biden would be the biggest, I'd say. I'm answering for you.
Is that the biggest? To
I
you.
mean, just,
it was really to him.
Oh,
not
sorry.
to you.
Sorry, not to
varies.
the world. I meant to the
It's
world.
not for
It's
you.
Joe Biden.
Yeah,
sorry.
it varies. Yeah, so I host an executive producer show at Complex called 360 with Speedy. It's my one-on-one interview show. Actually, the last episode was President Biden, but we've also had former President Barack Obama on the show.
That's big.
I think it's bigger than Joe.
Yeah,
Keep it real. Keep it real.
Well,
Barack Obama is bigger
Barack
than
does
Joe.
more. Barack does more, though.
Yeah,
Joe doesn't
because
do
he can
That's
get out
true,
of sentence.
but also,
Hey!
also, President Joe Biden was the first time I sat with a sitting president. Obama wasn't in office,
Right.
So that's like a different tier.
It
There's
is.
like levels to which I had to learn, but like getting some time with a sitting president who is also the leader of the free world at the same time, like it's like.
Nah, that's
Yeah, I'm
that's-
very, 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 very grateful. But yeah, everything you think about, have you guys? You guys have been.
We never
around-
had Biden.
Okay.
No,
Or
we've
Barack.
had no. We've only spoken to Hillary. Who else?
Kamala. Before she was
And
Okay.
Bernie.
and Bernie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
Bernie
there-
came in
Bernie
here.
wasn't here. Well,
Was
not
there
here, but
was there Secret Service involved when that happened?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, everything you think about like a sitting president with Secret Service is real. Like it
How?
was
So
crazy.
here's the real question: how old in real life does Joe Biden feel? Does he feel as old as he felt at the debate?
I mean, when I was with him, it was so we had one of the final interviews he did before he dropped out of the election, or dropped out of the race rather, and he's an older man. Like he appears to be an older man, but he wasn't. He was still sharp, especially when like the cameras weren't rolling. Like he was eloquent in speech, like kind of funny, pretty charming, surprisingly. So like that was my interpretation of
He didn't give you like when you talked to him with the camera was off when you guys chatted. He didn't give you like, oh man, this guy should not be like running this.
It's so crazy because everybody asks me, like, especially because that interview came at the time that it did. Everybody's like, yo, so what was he like? Yo, was he really like, And a lot of people have said, not me, but a lot of people have said that like that interview that he did kind of shifted things because he dropped out of the race very shortly after the interview. But nah, to me, it was just a conversation with the man who's
80 years
visibly
old.
older, but
Yeah.
was still sharp. Just
We've,
know.
and sidebar, throughout Biden's whole presidency, there was always talk of how one-on-one, he's very sharp, very personable, very engaged with individuals. But when it comes time to do a speech or do these things that are more prepared, that was always his shortcoming. Like if you look going all the way back to, when he first decided to run.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? That was always a thing. It was always like he's a personable, chummy, cool, funny dude. But when it comes time to actually be like presidential and speak to the camera and be on, a script, that's when
I
the
could see
struggle
that.
set in.
I mean, he was charming to me. He was pretty funny. Like he was making little jokes. So yeah, shout out to President Biden.
So you have a new show coming to Revolt.
Yes, it's actually out. Well, the first 2 episodes are out now. Yeah.
And what's it called?
Yeah, we got a new show. It's called Overtime Hustle with Speedy Morman.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a show where I try out other people's professions or jobs in an attempt to see if I have what it takes at some people's side hustles. basically the premise is not a new format. It's something that's been done obviously many times, but it's fun. And we've kind of tackled what a new era looks like for some of these professions, you know? So like are you guys on TikTok?
Yes.
You know? There's a guy named Ra, they call him Ak or Akiwe, and he makes these like crazy sandwiches. So like our first episode was with him where, you know, I went down to his
A lot of people
corner
go by
store.
his bodega, right?
Yeah. So I went down to his corner store and see if I had what it took to work the grill there, you know, run the store. And then the second episode, which also aired on Revolt, is I link up with this popular jeweler on TikTok named Vukum. We go to the Diamond District. I try to see if I can flip watches, Caparoli, and see if I can make some bread on it. So, it's just like a modern take on some cool hustles out there to see if I can make some bread in this economy.
Now, what other episodes do you have coming up that people might find interesting? So those are the two that are out.
Yeah, those are the two that are out right now. I'll give one more.
Because you don't want nobody to steal it, right?
No, not that. It's just, listen, there's embargo rule. I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But we did another episode. Okay, you guys know in all my real New Yorkers, you know Central Park, the pedicabs? I did that. That was not easy. Like
That's
riding
real work.
people around
Like
in the
all
park.
day.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I became a pedicab driver. That was tough. That was very difficult.
Customer service plus customer service.
Yeah, and
plus,
also that's like a profession, like you eat what you kill. Like you have to go, yo, you need a ride? Can I? It's not like Uber where the ride come into you.
Right.
It's all outbound.
So the
marketing.
people that
That's
do that
work.
pedicab work, right? Who are they? Like, what types of people are deciding
Just-
this is how I'm going to get money?
I mean, hustlers, you know, people who's trying to get to that bag by any means necessary.
Right.
People who got
Ebro, that could be a thing for you because
my cycling
riding-wise,
game-
your cycling game, you'd be fine.
Yeah, I think, and it would actually improve my actual cycling that I do. For,
Right, because it's a different kind of work.
Ibro's a cycle. He rides like 60 miles on a Sunday.
For real?
Yeah,
That's hard.
I like road bikes.
60
man.
was a light. It's light Sunday. It might be raining.
I went to
60 miles
Montauk
is
this
light?
weekend. I'm like,
Montauk?
bro.
Yeah, we're doing Montauk, not this weekend, next weekend. From Brooklyn, from
What?
No, it's crazy.
not
It's,
from
He's
Fort
a
Greene
psycho.
Park. What's the other
That's
park?
crazy.
it's when people.
Prospect Park, all the way to Montauk.
It's basically like being an addict of anything.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
pushing the high further.
Right.
And
So
I'm
now
actually
it's-
I'm actually on the other side of it. There's people that I ride with that are out of control. Like I have a buddy.
That's
he
not
just
out of
rode.
control.
No, it is.
No. But
Montauk, y'all know where that is?
I have a friend who just rode in Colorado 12,000 feet of climbing, 100 miles on a mountain bike. So you're not even on the road. You're rocks,
Like terrain.
up hills, terrain.
Wait, so like, what's your like dream journey? Like, where do you?
None
You've
of
done
them
it.
are.
You're right,
drugs.
right.
None of them. Dream of
Montauk,
none of
Long
them.
Island.
It's just like a do
Montauk,
it.
Long Island.
That's
is
it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a dream. It's just kind of like, yo, I'm doing it because people I ride with are doing it.
Right,
It's
right,
really
right.
a nightmare. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's a
Shout
lot.
to you, man. I
It's
mean,
really a nightmare.
we got an overachiever on our
No,
hands.
it's
No,
great.
no.
It's really wild, man.
I'm not. And by the way, I'm nowhere even in the.
But all addicts do this, right? Like, for example, if I were to come into you tomorrow.
So basically, there's people who do way more heroin than I do.
Right, that's all
Like,
I'm saying. Because if I came in today and I said, hey, guys, I bought a $1,000 Andre the Giant shirt, you would go, you've lost your mind. And I go, no. I know people who buy $2,000 Andre the
right,
Giant
right.
shirt. That's where you're
Yeah,
at.
that's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying?
Super facts. So Speedy, is doing interviews? Was that what you set out to do? What was it? Was it hosting? What was it?
Yeah. So, the short answer to that is yes. So I remember being a kid. I wanted to make the NBA, and I soon realized that I would never get paid to play basketball. It just wasn't in the cards for me.
Unfortunately.
So yeah, I wish I could.
But you're pretty nice though. I would
I'm
assume.
okay. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, my bros will say I'm all right, but
Well, what age? We can figure this out quickly.
Okay.
What age did you figure out you were not going to get?
my freshman year of high school.
Me too. So yeah, I know what level you're at. Yeah,
So but I grew up in the New York basketball scene. Like the high school that I went to, big basketball program here in New York. We all got recruited to go there.
Okay, got it. So
Since
you
we
did
were
think
young.
you could be on the path.
Yeah, I mean, from
You
yeah.
were on a level that got recruited young.
Yes. Well, my high school recruited
What
a
school?
lot.
You want to shout it out?
Yeah, Christ the King in Queens.
Yeah. See, I'm
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah. So most of us know. So we come through a pipeline to get to CK. Everybody starts in the camp, And everybody, you're going to Christ the King 5 years before you actually go there. They, start bringing you around. You come to camp. But yeah, I was, winning MVP in the camp, and then
Oh,
in
wow.
my
So
hood
you were in that
tournaments.
world.
So
yeah,
he was
for
way
sure.
beyond where you
Yeah,
were.
facts.
Yeah, in
Don't
my
try to
hood
play him
tournaments,
ever
I
in your
was
life.
No, he was on the path.
Yeah, I was pretty good, and
Your name was actually meant for you to be a point guard.
yeah, exactly, precisely.
Is that where it comes from?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. So you were Speedy Morman.
Yes, that's a fact. And I'm no longer Speedy
No, you're
anymore.
no longer
I'm very average.
You're
Speed
just
these
saddled
days.
with this
Yeah,
name. You're
yeah.
Speedy for life now.
Facts though.
I'm very average.
It
Speedy.
turned into
No.
a cool name. It worked out.
No.
Average Speed
Yeah.
Morman. Here we
Exactly.
go.
Average Speed Morman. It doesn't ring the same way though.
No, not quite. But yeah, so once I realized I wasn't going to play basketball, I was like, all right, what can I get paid to do that still is something that I enjoy? And so every morning before school, I'd watch SportsCenter. And then every day after school, I'd watch 106 in Park, specifically Terrence and Roxy. That was my era. And I just remember watching
But Roxy
Stewart.
she was on TV with other people.
To Terrence and Roxy.
Yeah,
Oh, you
Terrence
said
and Roxy.
Terrence and Roxy.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you just had your
No,
eyes
no,
on
no.
Roxy. I was seeing what
No.
you
No.
Just wondering.
Nah.
Just,
People have crushes, man.
Terrence and Rock. No, honestly, I used to watch Stuart Scott in the mornings and the rest of the cast, and then after school I would watch Terrence J and Roxy, and I just remember seeing Terrence. I tell him this all the time, but I remember seeing Terrence up there like fly, like good sneakers on, but like talking to hip hop artists, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to do what Stuart Scott does. I want to do what Scott Van Pelt does, and so I was like, that's what I want to do. So then I just one day in high school did a Google search, like, what's the best broadcast school in the nation? And then some list came up. Syracuse.
And you got
was
into
number
Newhouse?
one. Yeah, Syracuse was number one on the list. Thankfully, I've always done well in school academically, so I applied and got in. And I don't know if you guys know about the program. They're super rigorous. Like
I didn't get
very,
into
very
Newhouse.
intense.
Newhouse was my
Really?
lone rejection.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't challenge myself very much. As you
Yeah.
can tell.
Okay.
If I got into everything, it's because
But
I
you
wasn't trying.
You still made it though. So good.
I made it, but that Newhouse was the school that if I got in, I would have gone. That's
Yeah.
how prestigious a program it is. It was
Yeah.
like I didn't want to really leave Maryland that much, but for Newhouse, it was like I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they made the decision easy
Not
for
to-
me.
yeah.
But how rigorous was it to actually be?
Oh
in the
yeah, it's
program?
OD. I'm not gonna lie, it is. They really do teach you like a lot, and I've always said like I'm in large part the success I've had is due to like the core learnings of what this shit really entails. It's different a lot of, and you guys notice a lot of days now, a lot of times today, you can really just grab a camera and like everybody wants to do like man on the street interviews. Everybody wants to do one-on-one interviews, but to like really be trained in what journalism actually is, it's just a different it's a different beast. And yeah, I remember that shit was intense, man. They really teach you. So at the time, the program was really geared toward like news broadcasts, like news. So like we're doing packages, which everybody
Doing stories,
has seen.
real stories.
Everybody has seen a package, but maybe they don't know what it's called. But you start with a bit of a stand-up, which is man on the street. What really happened on September 7th is still an investigation, but police say so-and-so. And then you cut to a pre-recorded package with voiceover and interviews and all of that.
And you learn how to shoot it, and you learn how to do every piece of it.
So in that program, they teach us to be what's called a one-man band, which is you write your own stuff, you shoot your own stuff, you edit your own stuff, you light, color, everything that's entailed. You start at 8 a.m., and then you have to deliver a final package, one-man band style, by 4 for the 4:30 newscast.
Love that.
And so but the thing is, you can't do at the time, you're not allowed to do a story on campus. Like you have to go out into the city of Syracuse and tell a real story. Like you really have to like see what's going on the I forget what it's called.
Police
Yeah, like
scanner
the
and
blotter,
yeah,
like
yeah.
like we're really reporting on. We're going to like city council meetings and stuff. And I remember I was the only kid in my entire program. The program is pretty small, but I'm the only kid in the whole program who doesn't drive and doesn't have a license. Because everybody comes from all over the country. So I'm like getting on the bus in Syracuse, like learning the Syracuse bus system.
With your camera.
With my camera, and it's not a DSLR like these. It's a broadcast camera with a big tripod, a whole kit, like lugging it through the snow capital of America, which is Syracuse, getting on the bus, like figuring it out. And so to answer your question, the program is very rigorous.
Nah, I fucked with Speedy, man.
Yeah, it was
Sorry
tough,
for not
bro.
knowing your name many years
No,
ago.
it's so I had
didn't
to
know. I
earn
didn't know.
that.
I was
You
like,
think
who the
you-
fuck is this kid?
I had
man?
to
Where the
earn
fuck did he
that,
find
man.
these people.
I had
You
to
earned
earn
it,
that.
man.
I had to, and it's better that way rather than just it being given
Super facts. You'll be around for a long time because of
God
that.
willing.
For the record,
God
I do
willing.
want to say Maryland did do similar things in the program. I don't recall, though, we didn't have to do.
This isn't about you. Nor is
No,
this
I'm
curious. Matter of
though.
fact, if you went to a better program, you
You'd
wouldn't
be-
be trying to turn this interview to about you. You'd
No,
be
but
focused
I am
on-
curious.
I just bigged up.
'Cause it's your program's fault that you get on here and you
bigged
make everything about
I
yourself.
bigged up Newhouse so big, though. I don't want to act like I didn't even go to a school. Maryland does have a great program. But no, they didn't make you do it a one-day turnaround, and it has to be a real story off campus. Like, they added some extra wrinkles that make that, like, they put you through the ringer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's-
and the luxury that everybody else had was
They
they would
drove.
just get in that car, throw the tripod
that's
in the trunk,
that's a game changer.
and just whip it downtown. To
Right, go find
wherever
the story. You're driving around.
Yeah,
It's
like
light.
bro, I would really have to coordinate the schedule for the buses to make it back on the bus
See,
in
now
time.
here's the
like-
next question, though. Where are those losers at today, though?
Oh, well, why are they
Why would you
losers?
say that?
Why is it
Because they
always-
had it
Why?
the easy way.
And by the
Speedy
way,
had
you
do
don't
it
want
the
to play
hard
that
way.
game with Newhouse because some of them, I'm sure, are doing quite well also.
Have you seen some of your peers?
Yeah, where are they? Where are they? Speedy.
I mean, shout out to everybody who came out of there. You know what I'm saying? God bless.
But they're not where you are.
Listen,
They
I
didn't
may
sit down with Joe Biden.
I may be the
They didn't
only
sit down with Barack Obama.
No, I mean, I may be the only Syracuse alum to be right here on Hot 97.
Well,
with
No,
that.
we have to do some math on that. We have to. Well, who's some big alum in our world? Is there any Syracuse alum?
Miss Jones was at Syracuse.
She did?
Yeah, long time before Speedy, but she was then there.
You're saying like in our space,
Yeah.
who most people who come from Syracuse end up at like ESPN.
I was about to say because I meet lots of Newhouse people on the sports
but
side.
like on our like in the culture, it's rare because also it's just funny because if y'all saw like the training and the people who go to broadcast school at Newhouse, they don't really. It's not us for real. So it's like the chances of someone being a part of that broadcast program and like being into
No,
hip hop
no, it's-
and like. The overlap in that Venn diagram is
it's
very,
very small. No, listen.
So, there's not many.
When I got to Maryland, I wanted to do sports.
Yeah.
And the reason I ended up in the field that I'm in partially is because I wanted to do hip hop stuff. I wanted to do sports. When I got to Maryland and saw what the sports vibe was, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do the hip hop radio station thing.
Nah, that's
I don't know, this is
real.
for me. And God bless, they were all. Some of them went on to have great careers, but like it was just so intense and so nerdy, and I was like,
Yeah, it's very bro-y for sure at Q's. Nerdy and
Sounds
bro-y
like you guys
for
were
sure.
using a bunch of words that go with white.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Obviously,
I was
but...
like it too.
But-
So, Speed, let me ask you this. As this plays out for you, how much hip hop journalism? Because now your show is about side hustles, which is cultural, right? But it's not specific to the music. It's not specific to. Is that still an interest? Because hip hop journalism, like actually writing and creating stories and packages about where artists are coming from, what they're talking about in their music, what the music's actually about, all of the things that go around the music, right? It doesn't feel like a lot of that's happening.
Yeah. Are you asking in the Revolt show specifically
No,
or
I'm
just
just
in
asking
general?
for you as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
journalist who
Yeah.
also loves hip hop.
Yeah, for sure. So I still host and executive produce my show at Complex, Code
Yeah.
360. So I feel like a lot of that gets done in the way and style in which I interview. I think it's important to like know the origin to see where someone's going. So a lot of that like deep research is stuff that I do in order to properly tell the story of an artist. So yeah, I think I approach my stuff from a very journalistic way, as opposed to maybe just a more
Salacious. Or,
Yeah, that's never really been my thing for real. Like,
So competing in this landscape though, because everybody's competing for clicks and views and to get advertising dollars, whatever it is. Does it ever feel like people are trying to push you into that more salacious space or clickbaity space?
no, I mean you can only be pushed in a way that you're willing to get pushed in. Like nobody's ever like pressured me to like be more juicy and I will say, you know, shout out to the good people at Complex, but like they trust me to just like, you know, do my thing and they've always stood.
Credibility is more important to them, and great journalism is more
Yeah,
important.
and that's important to me because like, you know, without the credibility and like the actual good work that I've done, I don't think I get a President Barack Obama interview. I don't get a President Biden interview, if not four.
And I'm glad you said that, because I think that's what a lot of people miss who are trying to be in and around hip hop journalism, is being a credible person.
Yeah.
who's also respected as, someone who is not just a clickbaity thing and can sit down with people from all walks of life, right? And have a good conversation, right? Because some people are just trying to get the clicks to get the job because they're trying to fast track and they don't want to put in 10 years to get to.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've always been dynamic in not only my interests, but what I want to do. Like I said, I started from wanting to do SportsCenter and 106. I'm not like monolithic in that way. So that's why I'm grateful to be able to sit down with, a rapper, a politician, an athlete, an entertainer. Just a little bit of everything. And I've always prided myself in like asking the questions that need to be asked. Because at the end of the day, like I always tell everyone, like I'm really, and anybody who sits in the seat that I do, we are really just a vessel for the audience to learn more about the artist that they want to know more about. So it's just like, okay, what do the people want to know? That's my responsibility. Like when I sat in front of President Biden, it's like, it's my responsibility to ask certain questions, not because I'm being salacious or because I'm trying to elicit some sort of response, but it's my job. I have to ask, So
I did think I did think that Complex did you a little dirty with the lead stuff they put out on the Biden thing. Like they started the interview with your like Zionism portion, which I didn't think it made either of you look awesome in the moment. And then I watched the whole interview and I was like, oh, this is really good. But they started it with the spot where you guys have the exchange. And I don't know, if it did, to me, it felt a little gotcha-y for you both.
Okay.
That's how I felt. And then I was
But they hooked you, though.
What'd you say?
They hooked you.
They did hook. Well, yeah, but I was going to watch the kid interview Joe Biden no matter what.
The kid. You call him a kid now.
I literally knew him when he was standing outside with the microphone. I watched his whole ascent.
My brother.
So
Nice.
I wanted to see you do it because I wanted to see you do it.
Yeah.
But I did think they hooked you.
Interesting.
You didn't feel that way though.
No, I didn't. But
Yeah, like bring him up here to talk, disparage who he still works with. Good job, bro.
no. But listen.
I love Complex. I got no beef with Complex.
Listen. So
Well played, Speedy.
Yeah.
Great answer.
I have a heavy hand in like every facet of the show. So like the show would have, particularly that episode or any episode, wouldn't come out without me.
Right. If you had said I don't like that part,
right.
they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. But it's a push and a pull. Like it's important to get people in and to give people what's called at that point a cold open, just to let people know, hey, here's what's coming up, as opposed to just starting with an intro. It's like, look at this moment that is happening, and if you're interested,
Well, and that's a
stick around
juicy
for it.
piece because the Israel conversation for the young audience who's active on
it's
social
big,
media,
yeah.
it's a pretty big
Yeah.
thing. Now, here's the tough question I've been waiting to ask you all day. Did you consider wearing something different than the Speedy uniform for Joe Biden?
That's funny. Just to bring the two of you up to speed, so I exclusively wear tracksuits.
Yeah, because that's your brand.
Yeah. So this is my brand, Comf, but
His literal brand.
No,
and
that's
his
what
brand.
yes, but it not only is Comf my brand, but I also am. I always have worn like sweatsuits and tracksuits like forever.
Yeah. Just so you know, it's not a gimmick. This is real life every
Yeah,
day.
no, this is real. Like, I remember running into you recently, and you were like, yo, bro, it's so crazy, because, like, the way you wear tracksuits, it's like how Batman wears his bat suit, or how McAfee wears his tank top.
Yo, the tank top. Right, exactly.
So this is very uniform for me. Did I ever consider wearing something different? No.
Never thought
absolutely
about
not.
it.
No, at all. And I don't think they would have expected me to, and I think there's a lot of people in the political zeitgeist who didn't know who I was and was like, who the hell is this kid? What kind of respect does he have for a president? He's wearing white uptowns and a tracksuit. Like, who does he
Hey,
think?
they were nice clean uptowns.
Thank you, brother. I
Fresh,
appreciate
did
that.
get a fresh pair, no wrinkles.
Always. You know
But
that.
the fact is, and I thought about it myself. I was like, went with the tracksuit for Biden, huh? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, but the point was for Biden to be in that world. So for you to then make the world not look like what it looks like every other time would kind of be defeating the purpose of why Joe was there.
Sure, but it's not even about him to me. Like, the bigger messaging is, I feel like if you've earned your right to be there, come
As you are.
as you are, the same way that you've earned your right to be there. So when I sat down with President Obama, I too wore a tracksuit. I'm not switching up for Biden or for Hove if I get that interview one day, or even with y'all. Like, I think it's important It's like kind of
I
metaphoric.
definitely expected a 3-piece suit. I feel disrespected.
Yeah, well, I have one. I could go change.
Yeah, no, I thought this was gonna be the time.
Yeah, this is the one time you see me with a blazer.
Yeah,
nah, but I just think it's
cuff tie.
important. It's important, like, and not to get deep and metaphoric, but like I'm very much be comfortable in your own skin. Like, be comfortable as you are if you've earned your right to be that way. And yeah, I'm not about to change that. Now, if you ever do see me at a position somewhere where I am wearing a suit, just know I'm getting a bag. Like, I'm getting paid some shit. But until then, you know what I mean?
Now, do you think there's a point in your career where there is a bigger bag? It is a different time in your life, and you are going to make that transition to being more, I don't know, for lack of a better term, buttoned up.
I mean, it could be, but I think...
I mean, one button would be more buttoned up. The man only wears
I don't
zippers.
have a single
not one
button
single
on me.
button.
No button.
But and again, not to get too deep, but like I don't really equate dress with skill or like dress
Well,
with
no, I don't even think that's
professionalism.
my question as much as it's like right now you're doing things that are more entertainment, music,
Yeah.
cultural based.
Right.
Versus doing like hard news and like really going down a news path. Or let's say you did get Sports Center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just know if I ever did end up on a sports center, I would very, very likely still be wearing a tracksuit.
If you could get there, if they allow it.
Honestly, like I've turned shit down for not being able to come as I am because I think that's important and that also helps with my validity.
Listen,
like,
I'm the same. I'm with you.
you in
I'm
board
in shorts
and
and
a
I'm like
Stussy.
whatever, and I've been like this forever and ever.
Yeah,
and ever.
but
I mean, there's times you put on little fake glasses. And
Yeah.
Well, no, if we're going to a black tie event or something where it's more
listen,
dressy, I'm not going to show up.
If Tim Apple tells Ebro to come through, he's putting on long pants.
Yeah,
He's
I'm going to an executive meeting. Yeah, but
Correct.
that's not for my work.
But that's
though.
my point, though. But the difference is you have this executive thing that's half
Yes.
of what you do, right? You just being on camera, I'm telling you right now, this ain't lasting for life. If it does,
might, though.
No, if it
Let's
does,
see.
it's because comfy became your biggest thing. And if that happens, God bless.
No,
I'm telling you, you're 30, and at 30 you are a pretty self-realized person. Bro, at 30, we are still light years away from where we end up landing.
I don't know,
And
but
if he gets if Sports Center
see.
calls and they say we really want you to do 11 o'clock Sports Center, I suppose they let Pat McAfee wear the tank top.
might be
what
the
I'm saying.
first
So
person up there.
maybe you would be.
Listen, who knows where the path goes? I don't even know. You know, only God knows what's in store. And if everything ended today,
Man,
I'm
you
still
keep
grateful.
rocking your
Wear your
sweatsuit.
suit.
Shout the brand.
Yeah.
Hey, people want to buy it.
I don't
Where
like
do they
that I
buy
end
it?
up being the heel here. I just
You
think
are,
we
man.
all
No, for
regardless-
sure. He's like, you're gonna put a suit on whether you like it or not.
No, it's not that. I just look back. I look back at myself when I was doing pretty well in my early 30s and decisions. I literally showed up on TV. Now, granted, you look better. You're
brother.
thinner,
Thank you.
and you have a brand, and it looks nice.
Appreciate
But
that.
I still showed up on TV being like, my brand is I show up and do what the fuck I want.
Right.
And I look back and I go, nope, that was a bad choice. I shouldn't have done that. I would have moved
real.
along faster if I had. Now, in your case, maybe that won't be the truth. You already sat down with a sitting president wearing a tracksuit.
Right.
But you have so many aspirations. You just don't know where the world.
No,
could
that's
take
real.
You.
It's not a hill
He
I'm
went to
ready
a better school than you. Like, there's a lot of things that he has going
listen,
that you don't have, man. Don't compare yourself. Bro.
It's not a hill I'll die on. Like I will never. You know,
Right,
it's
right,
not really that. But to me, it's just like I feel I'm able to perform the best when I'm comfortable.
But
in
not
my
only
own-
that, but I think to your point of in a world where we place a lot of judgment on appearance,
Yeah.
you're saying clearly my appearance does not dictate my skill set.
Yeah.
My appearance does not mean that I am not able to do X, Y, and Z, which I think is a great message too.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're out here acting a goddamn fool.
Yeah.
right?
That's a great point.
I think I started to say it a second ago, but like I think there are some professions in which like uniform is required or is more beneficial. But like in our space, we can all keep it a buck. Like we're not saving lives. We're not, altering. Like this doesn't matter to me.
Sure,
Like,
it doesn't.
This doesn't qualify me in a way that unqualifies somebody. Like somebody's not better or more prepared to interview somebody because they have a suit on.
That is a fact.
This is a suit. If we keep it, it's just a track suit. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying?
A uniform, man.
By the
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
I'll take it another step further. If somehow metabolism-wise, you run into harder days because you've been blessed with a great metabolism. Hold on, hear me out. If this man becomes remotely fat, you will so quickly look like an old school mobster that you have to lose the tracksuit.
No, but that's like the
You see, you
that's
can't
the
start saying
vision.
that with a belt.
No,
You said
no,
that's
that's
the
the
vision.
vision.
That's
As
where
soon
you
as
wanna
that,
go?
yes, as soon as that happens, I'm not even going white tee. I'm going beater underneath, and then I'm zipping halfway.
What kind of gold you wearing?
I might have a little Cuban on or something like that, with a little taco meat showing. Like that's really the vibe. Like
That's the aspiration.
Yeah, old mobster is like the dream. Like young R.I.P. Ray Liotta. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Can't believe he died.
Up
Yo,
with
man,
the goats,
somewhat
man.
Speedy Morman, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming by, bro.
Oh, thank you so much for having me,
Yo,
man.
check out the new
Congrats on your
program on
show.
Revolt. What's the name?
Yes, it's called Overtime Hustle. It airs on Mondays on Revolt and digital streaming on Tuesdays on YouTube.
Yo, man, come back anytime, man. You way better than us anyway.
Yo,
You know what
Nah,
I'm saying?
man.
One day we'll hand it off.
My brother.
Yeah.
Thank
See, you learned. You took time. You were sleeping at first, but now you've caught up with
I didn't
Speedy.
know. I knew his face, didn't know his name. I was like, Speedy, what are we talking about? Who is
My
this
brother.
kid? But I love the work. I love the story. I
Thank
love it
you,
all.
man. Appreciate
Thanks, man.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man.